Jaycee Dugard was just 11 years old when she was kidnapped on her way to school on 1 June morning in 1991. She was kidnapped on 10 June 1991. She was on her way to school, and it was just like a normal day, like every day, every school day. She was strolling to school. Like, she was advised by her mom that she should walk at the edge of the road. So she was walking on her own going to school, and a car stopped, and a couple just pulled her into the car, and they zoomed off. And apparently her stepfather was on the road then when she was kidnapped, but he was a little bit farther apart from her. So when he saw what happened, he just got on his bicycle and started chasing the car. But he was riding on the bike, and the car is a car, so he has zoomed off. So he couldn't catch up with the car, and that was how this girl was kidnapped. And she was kidnapped for 18 years. She was held in captivity for 18 years. So today we are going to talk about this case of Jaycee Dugard. It has been talked about so much, but I felt, okay, let's just talk about it on this channel. My name is Linda Camara, and you're on Crime Stories with Linda. Welcome back to my channel. If you have not subscribed, please do not hesitate to subscribe. Please just subscribe. Thank you very much. This Jaycee girl, she was so close to her mom. Her family, the close-knit family, her father and her mom, her biological father and the mother, they had divorced. So her mom remarried, and she had a stepfather who loved her too. And on that morning of 1991, June 10th, she was kidnapped. And from that day on, her mom printed posters, printed placards, was begging on the television and news stations and everything that they should release wherever she is, that whoever is with her, that person should release her, that this is her daughter. She was just 11 years old at the time, pleading, and the neighbors, her co-workers, everyone were on the road looking for her. Everybody, all hands were on deck. People were looking for her everywhere. Her posters were plastered all over the city. On every anniversary of her kidnapping, her mom would print posters, and they would they would try to like assume how she would look like after like 10 years, after like 5 years, 3 years. And they would make posters and post everywhere so that people would continue looking for her. But she wasn't found until 18 years later. Imagine being just 11 years old, walking to school, thinking it's just another school day, but in a split second, your entire life changes forever. That's just what happened to Jaycee Dugard. She was kidnapped in broad daylight, and for 18 long years, no one knew where she was. That was what was happening with Jaycee. She created routines that will make her feel somehow normal. After the kidnapping, Jaycee was living with this Garridos, with Nancy and Philip Garridos. This particular Philip Garrido had extensive rap sheets. He was in prison for rape. He had already raped a woman for 8 hours, kidnapped a woman, took her to an abandoned storage facility, and raped her for 8 hours. And then when he was caught, he was sentenced to 50 years in prison. But he didn't even serve up to the quarter of that 50 years, and he was released into the society. He was a confirmed registered sex offender, and he had parole officers coming into his house to come and check up on him from time to time. But Jaycee was in his backyard, and those parole officers never noticed that Jaycee was there. I don't know how it happened. Parole officers came up to like 60 times to check on Philip Garrido in his house, and Jaycee was at the backyard, and they couldn't see that Jaycee and her 2 children were there. This Garrido raped Jaycee, and each time he would rape Jaycee, he would tell her that after raping her, he will cry and apologize to her, tell her that he's raping her because he does not want to rape other people, that as she is here as a sex slave being raped by him, that is helping other children not to be raped, that this will make him not to go out to rape other children, that her being there is saving other children. And for a time, Jaycee said that she at the time she kind of believed that, okay, if I'm here, maybe he will not be able to do it to some other people. So that was what was happening to this Jaycee girl for 18 years. He will come in and grape her for hours and do all some unimaginable things to her. And this happened until 1994. In May of 1994, they were watching television, and they just turned the husband and the wife. The wife is also one very wicked woman that helped her husband to kidnap this little girl of 11 years old. So at the time of 1994, Jaycee was already 13 years old. So they were watching television, and they turned to her and told her that they suspect that she may be pregnant. As at that time, Jaycee does not even know what pregnancy means. She was 11 when they kidnapped her. She was in 5th grade. So she was educated to like 5th grade. She doesn't know much. 5th grader. So she was confused. What is pregnancy? She don't even know that graping could lead to pregnancy. So they told her that they suspect that she may be pregnant, and that she should start reading books on pregnancy. They will buy books for her to read on pregnancy. They will put shows for her to watch. And that was what happened. Then in August of that same year, 1994, she gave birth to her first daughter. And that was what happened. She gave birth to her first daughter. Then a few years later, she gave birth to her second daughter. And during those pregnancy, during the labor, she was alone for some hours before these people came in and helped her. And the first pregnancy even had complication. There was cord, the baby's neck, there was cord tied on the baby's neck as she was delivering the baby, that Philip had to put his hand like a doctor to remove the cord from the baby's neck. He said that was what he saw from those pregnancy delivery shows that he was watching, and then delivered the baby. And that was what happened. He became a rapist, a doctor, everything to this little girl. And he was there. And at night she would she and her mom, they had like some kind of weird thing that they do. They watch the moon in the night, and they sing to the moon. So sometimes for her to be connected to her mom, she'll be watching the moon, feeling that maybe her mom is also watching the moon, and wishing that she would eventually get to meet with her mom, and holding up hope that one day that she will get to meet with her mom. And that was what was happening. And then during when Jaycee was released, she went on an interview. They were asking her why did she leave, especially during the advent of computers. At least in the early 2000s, in the 2000s, there were computer and all of that. That why did she, and she had access to computer because this Philip Garrido later had like a printing business, that Jaycee was also one of his workers. Then that why did she type on the computer that she is Jaycee Dugard, and that she is missing that you can describe where she is or something like that. He said that it's because she felt that because she has been so much brainwashed, that she felt that if she had written that this man will find it and maybe kill her, because she has 2 little babies that she's trying to protect. So that she felt that if she does it, that maybe he will find out and kill her before the police will come. So that was why she didn't do that, and a lot of things. And I think mind control, fear, everything was just what made her not to. Because they usually go out with her. They go for there was a time they went for a confest in 1999. They did a lot of things together. They usually go out together, and she didn't for once tell anybody that her name is Jaycee Dugard. In fact, she changed her name to Elisa, because they asked her to. They told her that she should never mention to anyone that her name is Jaycee Dugard, that she should change her name to something else. And from one of the shows that they usually watch, she just took one of the names. They named herself Elisa. So that is how it has been for her. So she kept suffering, and trying to raise her children. She created like a routine, like a school with her fifth grade knowledge and the little books that she has been reading. She was able to educate her children to some extent. According to JC, there was even a time that one of the parole officers came and they saw her, and they even made eye contact, and the man didn't ask her anything or didn't ask her why she's there or anything, and he left. So the parole officers, they will come in, check in inside his house. They will never go to the backyard. Sometimes there was even a man that came. There was a particular parole officer that came, and he came in almost into that backyard, like 30 feet from where Jaycee was, and he didn't get to that place that she was. He just left. So the whole thing was just so bad that a sex offender had like a full-blown tent, different tents in his backyard, and your mind never told you to, like, after checking his house, because they checked his house very well. After checking his house, at least to check that backyard is his property, check his backyard to see what is happening there. No, no, none of them checked his backyard, none of them checked those tents. The 60 people that came into that house, none of them checked. And that was what was happening, and I think that was what emboldened him to start going out with Jaycee, going out to different shows, going out to different places with Jaycee and the kids. And he was never questioned. Then until 2009. So on that, in 2009, Jaycee was Jaycee would have like had any hope of going home. In her mind down, she'll be like she's settled and this is her routine. She's now like maybe here, this is my forever and something like that. So that 2009, they went to UC Berkeley, University of California, Berkeley. So they went there to, according to Jaycee, this Philip guy said he hears voices from the wall, that he sees different angels. So he's like a Christian maniac or something like that. So he usually goes to that university to preach about angels and all of that. So one of the times that he went to the school to do his normal gig, two university campus police officers, two female officers, noticed Jaycee and the two little girls. They came and asked Philip Garrido some questions, the way he was behaving and all of that, and the way their body language. So they were very suspicious. So they went back and checked on the computer, asked him his name. He boldly told them his name, and they checked on the computer and found out that he's a sex offender. And they were suspicious. Okay, a sex offender, what is he doing with these two little girls with the young adult? So they had to call the police, and they were arrested, kind of. So as they were there, and then they took them to different separate rooms to ask them questions. And as they were interrogating them, Jaycee refused to tell them her name, tell the police her name. She said her name is Elisa. They kept questioning Philip. It wasn't even Philip that first like broke before Jaycee could break. They couldn't break Jaycee. So after much questioning and everything, they just told her that even if she cannot say the name, maybe she should write it. She said okay, that they should bring a book that she will write her name, that she has not been able to write the name for the past 18 years, so, or say the name out for the past 18 years. So they brought the book, and she, with her shaky fingers, she just wrote Jaycee Lee Dugard, and the police were shocked. For 18 years, what happened? So they called her mom and told her mom that her daughter is in the station. At first, her mom could not believe. She said that they should not play pranks with her, that they should not pull that kind of play with her. That she's very fragile. They should not play with her like that. They told her that she come, that her daughter is in the station. So she was so happy. She ran to the station. I don't know how she drove there. I don't know, maybe someone drove her or something. So she got to the station and she met her daughter. She was so happy. They hugged. They were so happy, at least that they are seeing each other for the first time. They were so close before Jaycee got missing in 1991. So imagine seeing your daughter when she was 11, and the next time you're seeing her, she's 29. So they saw each other, they hugged. Then she met her grandchildren. The first girl is now was 15 when they were found, and the other girl was 11. So they hugged, and Jaycee was happy. He was so happy that she has been rescued. And so then the two Garridos, they were arrested, and they were, and during the trial it was so messy. Everything was just Philip, he was sentenced to 431 years in prison. That's life without parole. In fact, he would die in prison. Then Nancy was sentenced to 36 years, and both of them will possibly die in prison. They are sentenced to life imprisonment. So, and then Jaycee started picking the pieces of her life. She started writing books. She wrote a book, The Stolen Life, because her life was basically stolen. 18 years of her life was stolen. What do you know? Do you know what 18 years is? This man basically stole 18 years of this little girl's life. So she wrote the book, and it was found out that even one of the days that Philip took Jaycee and the girls out, that someone recognized Jaycee, saw her face, and saw the poster on in the first station there, and like could recognize that this person is this person, and called the police to tell them that someone that they saw someone that looked exactly like Jaycee Dugard at that first station, but police didn't do anything. Then her neighbor, Garrido's neighbor, in that Antioch, in that their town Antioch, their neighbor living very close to them also saw that this man had two girls and three girls living on his backyard, because he's a sex offender, and called the police in 2006 to report him. And the police didn't do anything. They didn't even come and check or anything. They didn't do anything, and all of that. So the city, Jaycee's mom had to like sue them or something like that. So the city of California or something had to pay her settlement of $20 million, pay Jaycee $20 million for her settlement for taking the 18 years of her life, even though police were coming there for 60 times and could not save her, that the city police force failed her and things like that. So she was compensated with $20 million, which is nothing for 18 years. So, and that for that. The story of Jaycee Dugard. For like, now she's for now she still living her life with her daughters. Authorities failed her. A sex offender. Why was he not watched very well? And why was he even released after raping someone for 8 hours? Why was he released for that crime? He's supposed to be. If he had served the sentence, he wouldn't have seen Jaycee to kidnap. So I don't know what happened. And they said apparently this Nancy Garrido met him in prison. He met Philip Garrido when he was in prison, when he was serving that his sentence, his 50 years sentence. And she came to meet her uncle, and from there met Philip, and from there they formed a connection, and then started dating each other and something like that. When he came out from prison, they got married and became an evil duo. So that is the story. It pains me so much when these things, the police force in a developed country fails its citizens like this. It just pains me, because these are the things that happen in Nigeria, and I'll be like, oh, yeah, it's happening in Nigeria. We'll still suffer all those things. And but when you hear that it happens in all these developed countries, it's somehow more painful, because it's not supposed to happen. You have developed your system enough to be able to counter this type of things, and when it happens there, it pains so much. But those kind of things, they are like an everyday thing here. So just that is just it. So thank you very much for coming in to watch this episode on Jaycee Dugard. I know that it has been done so much. But someone like me has never done it, so please just listen to it and learn your lessons from it, and hopefully I just pray that this thing never gets to happen to any other child. Amen. So please just please just subscribe and turn on the notification bell, click comment, share, and let's just keep it coming. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.